Hey, what's going on? We are here live. This is the Boxing Source, and usually we have like a midweek report of sorts. But today wanted to get in to see if I could have someone on for this particular live video. Okay. Usually, I do a midweek report on Wednesdays. That kind of goes in between what has happened over the previous couple of days. But I had pushed it back to today to see if I could get my special guest on scheduled for 8 p.m. Eastern time today. And we'll see how we are going to be able to get that situated. But in the meantime, wanted to cover what's out there in the sport of boxing. I did post a video earlier today, like pretty much early in the morning, going over the lightweight division and the announcements that were made within the lightweight division. With the Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez that's scheduled for September 19th for the unified lightweight titles. You're going to have Javier Fortuna versus Jorge Linares, and that will be for the WBC Diamond lightweight title. You also have the WBC ordering a fight between Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia. Luke Campbell, world title challenger, gold medalist, going up against Ryan Garcia. That will be for the top spot in the WBC rankings. That leaves the WBC champion Devin Haney remaining to see what's going to happen with him. Like I've said in the video, there is a particular fighter that has wanted to face Devin Haney. They're at 135 pounds, and they're willing to step up, so to speak, to take on that challenge. So I like to see what happens with Devin Haney. Wanted to see if I could get in contact with the promoter for Devin Haney, or his manager, trainer, and father, to see what they have in store for Devin Haney next, as he was able to get the WBC lightweight title back. He was a champion in recess after his injury from November. They were, trying to make a fight between Javier Fortuna and Luke Campbell for that title, but that didn't, happen. So they ended up making Devin Haney still champion, and once again to reinstate him as a champion. So now you have Javier Fortuna going up against Jorge Linares, and Jorge Linares was, slated to face Ryan Garcia. Before the whole thing with COVID-19, they were scheduling to have that fight to take place. Well, it was going to be this Saturday, actually. But that didn't go through. And it seemed like he had a couple of issues between Golden Boy Promotions and Ryan Garcia, particularly with what Oscar De La Hoya was saying. But now it seems like you may have Ryan Garcia going up against Luke Campbell for that number one ranking in the WBC. That has been ordered by the WBC. That doesn't mean that it will actually happen just yet. They might see if they set a date for purse bid for this particular fight. But as of this point, I haven't heard anything from both parties, particularly with Ryan Garcia in reference to this, or with Luke Campbell. So that's something that remains to be seen to see if that fight comes to fruition. Of course, we've had this back and forth in reference to Glovegate. And once again, you don't want to just go ahead and leave that alone for the time being. I really don't want to visit that. So you do have that. what we have coming up is the fight card through Top Rank that is scheduled for 8 p.m. tonight. That is the thing with Jose Pedraza versus Mikael Lespierre. That was a fight that was originally scheduled for a couple of weeks ago, but Mikael Lespierre could not be in that particular bout because of one of the members of his team testing positive for COVID. So they had to reschedule the bout, and that bout will be for tonight. Okay, that's the main event. You also have Albert Bell going up against Mark Bernaldez. There you're also going to have Elvis Rodriguez versus Dan Murray. This 6th-round bout. You're going to have Patrick Mailata versus Kingsley Abe in the heavyweight division. You also have, I think this will be, before, it's pretty much maybe going on right now, Carlos Jackson versus Jose Enrique Vivas. And the fight of interest, not just the main event, but this fight of interest, Robeisy Ramirez versus Adin Gonzalez at the featherweight division. Robeisy Ramirez, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. What's good about Virus? 2-time Olympic gold medalist, did, face Adin Gonzalez in his first professional fight and ended up losing to Adin Gonzalez in his first professional fight. Ever since then, he has stopped or knocked out, every fighter that he's faced since. He was on one of the fight cards earlier, pretty much was a couple weeks ago, where he stopped his opponent in the first round. So we still have another, fight here. This one against Adin Gonzalez. It's a rematch. And this one here, man, like, a lot of people who are looking at Robeisy Ramirez like, yo, I mean, you were able to get the win over Shakur Stevenson in the Olympics. You did, get 2 gold medals. And you step in the ring, man. This is her first fight. And this is what happened. So he's going ahead and he's running that back. It's pretty interesting that he's able to, run this back. Well, Lomachenko didn't run it back with Orlando Salita, but that's a whole nother story. But like I said, I'm looking forward to that first bout. It's scheduled to happen in about 8 minutes. I think they have this, 10-round bout that's going down right now between Carlos Jackson and Jose Enrique Vivas. We want to see if they'll, that's going to be confirmed. Looking at see if I'll get updates as far as like this particular fight card is concerned. But we'll also be, watching it on ESPN. And that's what is scheduled for tonight. We have more action coming up later on down the line. What we have, let's see, on July 7th, you're going to have Jose Zepeda versus Kendo Castaneda. They're in the junior welterweight division, with the co-feature bout being Andy Vences versus Luis Alberto Lopez. They're going to have, I think it's going to be 1, 2, 3, going to be 4 bouts on the undercard for that. And then on July 9th, you're going to have Carlos Takam going up against Jerry Forrest. Carlos Takam is there because of what happened with Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Jarrell Miller, man. Jarrell Miller. So now you have Jerry Forrest. They're going up against Carlos Takam. Hopefully that fight does take place. Jerry Forrest has been involved with a couple of opponents that he is supposed to fight, but for some reason, those opponents ain't available, man. I mean, like I say, you got Jarrell Miller. You had Marat Gasayev that was supposed to move up to a heavyweight division in February 29th against Jerry Force, but that didn't happen. So I don't know, man. Like, this better not be a Jerry Force curse, like how you have the Madden curse, man. Yeah, and yeah, Jarrell Miller was there, man. He was hitting up Walgreens, CVS, GNC, the vitamin shop, man. I mean, he hit them all, man. It looked like he hit them all. But like, there's a video, out there where he was interviewed, and he says like, "Hey, we got his legal team on the scene, and that whatever he had, that it was something that was put in the food or whatever he has that produced that positive test." So that's what he has right now. He's like, after the whole thing with the fallout from the Anthony Joshua fight, he's like, to have this happen to him again, it is what it is. He could fight, he could, make his case, but I mean, either way, it's something to, have it happen, for the fight that he was supposed to have on June 1st at Madison Square Garden last year. But, people have had questions about him in the past. They're saying they had allegations of him testing dirty while he was under, mixed martial arts. And then, something going down a couple years later. And then, like I said, the thing with Anthony Joshua falling out. But we'll see, what we can, straighten out with all of that. Hopefully when we have our special guest on, he'll be able to, touch on that particular topic. But yeah, he's in, real trouble right now because if he can't necessarily, get through this, you don't really get much of a chance after that. He already had, a particular, issue before. So let's see how this thing will work right here. We have our special guest on from Salita Promotions, the head of Salita Promotions, Dmitry Salita. What's going on?
What's up, guys? How you doing? Are we on?
Yes, we're on, man. You're on the move, on the go.
I'm on the move, man. I thought it was gonna be 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna be where I'm gonna be at 8 o'clock. But we can go, man. Let's go.
All right, gotcha. So just catching up with you. I know that we were talking for a little bit a few weeks earlier, on the podcast. So just catching up with you once again. I know that you had a YouTube video yesterday. So you can talk about that for a little bit so that people could check that out too.
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel, Salita Promotions, and we have a lot of great content, a lot of great fights from different promoters, big promoters with whom we made deals for to work with their library. And there's some phenomenal fighters such as Vladimir Klitschko, Kelly Pavlik, Casamayor, Corrales, Mayweather fights, Rahman, etc. Just the list, man, the Holyfield, Kasetsu, the list goes on. Clarissa Shields. So we have a lot of great content. We also have some live programs. There's actually one 8 p.m. But it's going to be available in demand after it's done. It's K9, Cornelius Bundrich, former world champion from Detroit. Tonight is going to be interviewing Jonathan Banks about his boxing career and his training career. So it's going to be a fun show. And during these Corona times, trying to
Yeah, so it looks like you're trying to build a library there for Salita Promotions, and you'll have that all of that content for people to post on there. Let me see here because not sure where you're at. Might have a little bit with the connection right there. So yeah, I'm not sure if you're still with us. Kind of going in and out. Let me see here.
You guys back?
Yeah, you're back there a little bit. Just through yeah.
Yeah. What's up? Are we live? This is great. See,
Yep.
Live all happen when you're live. It's nothing like a live event. You know what I mean?
Yep. Exactly. There. So yeah, I was talking about the thing with Salita Promotions. Like you said, you're building a library for people to access the fights that you've had under Salita Promotions, plus with other fighters that you've been involved with in the past and such. So I'll be able to direct them to the Salita Promotions YouTube page if that's built up. And I know that the Salita Promotions website is being worked on. So once that's ready to go, people will be able to get on to that as well.
Sure. No, the YouTube channel is up. We're putting on new fights and new content, sometimes 2 and 3 a day. So boxing fans, when they're done watching the Boxing Source, watching this interview, you can go on Salita Promotions and check out some great boxing.
Yep. So I'll be able to post that link onto this particular video that's on YouTube, and also share it on Facebook as well. So people could go on to Salita Promotions on Facebook. Make sure you like the page on Facebook, and you'll be able to get all the updates that you need from there as well. Just wanted to catch up there a little bit. Also to get any updates. I know that you have Clarissa Shields under their Salita Promotion. So trying to get some updates on Clarissa Shields and a few other fighters there under your stable to see how things are going with them, such as Ottawa Lean and others. So could you give a brief update on that?
Yeah, we're working on announcing something really exciting for Otto. I can't say more than that, but I believe that Otto is one of the best heavyweights in the world. He proved that against Tyson Fury, and he's gonna have another opportunity to climb the heavyweight ranks and show what he's got. Really, a true story of what boxing is all about. Comes from a small town in Sweden. Sweden itself doesn't really have a big boxing population, but he's from a village, and he had a dream to be a world champion, to be a world-class boxer, and through hard work, come to the United States, hooking up with trainer Joe Gamache. Really had almost beat Tyson Fury. Some felt that he won. So really incredible and inspirational story. Clarissa was supposed to fight for the unified junior middleweight world title May 9th. Then Corona hit versus Marie DeCarry from Canada, a talented IBF world champion. And now we are working on scheduling that. We have another big other great fighters in our stable. I mean, unfortunately, Jarrell happened what happened. We have Conor Gashev talking about his fight with Regis Prograis, and another very talented guys. So I see somebody. Are these live? Is this fans talking live? That I see stuff popping up on my screen?
Yeah. Those are the live comments there that's on YouTube right now. So yeah, they did bring up the thing with Prograis and Ergachev.
Yeah, it's true. His camp agreed to the fight. Our camp and Ergachev's camp, specifically, the trainers and the managers and the fighters, most importantly, agreed to the fight from both sides. The Bella Luke, likes the fight. So we're just, trying to find the best home for it. I really think that it's one of the best fights we've made in boxing. Two young, ambitious, talented fighters in their peak. Man, it's going to be fantastic. I think my man wins, Ergachev, but it's boxing, and you never know. Great fight.
Yeah, that's going to be a great fight.
This would be, I think, one of the early hosts, fight of the year candidate. Man, it's incredible.
Yeah, I know that Ergachev's going to be ready to go, no doubt. There to face a former champion in Regis Prograis, and yes, it's going to be a real action fight right there. I think Brother Lawrence Williams did ask something in reference to Clarissa as far as when she'll be in action, but You said like you're trying to work on trying to set, a date with Clarissa Shields later on down the line. Is that correct?
That's correct. I mean, we're just waiting for boxing to open up, and different networks open up, and so just that's what we're working on. Uh, we obviously want to give both champions the ability to prepare themselves and to be in great shape, so they can give boxing fans, all they can and a great performance. So Clarissa, while she's been training at home, and so has Marie, they obviously have met the boxing gym because of the lockdown. So so they have an opportunity to have a full camp,
Mm-hmm.
and then fans, they got some of the best women boxing in the world. The best through every one of our fights, willing and wanting to fight the best, has really raised the bar and raised women's boxing all around the world.
Gotcha. Now, I have another question, follow up to that. But Lawrence Williams here asks, will Apti versus Brown be rescheduled as well?
So first of all, I want to say that I love your boxing fans. I love your boxing viewers because they're really educating the sport. And Lawrence, that's a great question. Thank you. So that's what we're working on. We're scheduled to take place and obviously depends on canceled. Apti is trained by Tyson Fury. He's been with him for several years. He's really gotten a lot better. Although a lot of boxing fans haven't seen him because he hasn't really fought on national television in the U.S. But I'm telling you, he's a big guy, big puncher, great boxing IQ, getting better and better with each camp, and that's a great fight. So we're working on rescheduling that for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Now, speaking of the thing there with Clarissa Shields, and talking about the thing with rescheduling, like the whole thing with this COVID-19 has affected a lot of sporting events. Of course, you do have some organizations trying to slowly get action back on. With one particular promotional company that has done things for the past few weeks. What do you think about how this is, kind of gone on, particularly with what's happening in Las Vegas right now, and how that would affect, you having your fighters participate in boxing cards, whether it does have a crowd or it does not have a crowd?
Well, it's great that boxing has opened up. I fought on the Top Rank. Top Rank was my first promoter. Operationally, they're the best. They really know what they're doing. They have great staff and great people. And I know they're taking every precaution that they can in the most professional way to make sure the fights happen. Particularly, they're really incredible. So, hopefully some of their excellence rubbed off on me because as a fighter, I got a chance to see it and to function under it. So so it's great that they show that boxing can happen in this environment. I know that some fighters failed the test and were pulled off. That's great because it shows that there's responsibility. And when someone's not supposed to fight, they're not supposed to fight. Shows there's great testing, very high level testing. So I'm very happy and excited about it as a boxing fan, and obviously as someone in the business. Very happy to see that boxing events are happening. Things are opening up. Other networks, are working on rescheduling dates and scheduling fights. And we're part of those conversations, and we have a lot of great talent. I feel like the fan experience is changing. We did a deal with the Crown Boxing Gym because it's a fan-free environment. But different people talk about different things, and all the different setups that a promoter can have, and everybody's doing a great job. But it's kind of like you want to set a stage as if there's a big fight happening. But at the Crown Boxing Gym, if these walls could talk, man, they tell you some great stories about great fighters going to war inside that ring. So boxing fans, I believe in a setting that very unique and very finite, because I hope and pray that things get back to normal and we'll be back to fan full arenas instead of being fan free.
Right.
And to be able to be in that environment, to be in that legendary gym and see guys actually fighting where there's a winner and there's a loser, I feel like even kind of the so-called opponents, B-side guys are gonna do their job, do the best they can, and even better, because the certain spirit of the Crown Gym is gonna take over them, and they're gonna want to do a great job. And like people, I remember back in the day when I was in the Golden Gloves, when I won the Golden Gloves, getting to Madison Square Garden is like, man, fighting at the Garden. You know, it's like legendary. So I feel like that feeling is going to happen when fighters fight at the Kronk Gym. The state of Michigan has not opened its doors yet to boxing, and we're hoping that'll happen in the near future. And once that does, you know, we really want to schedule some great fights, great events, and bring it to boxing fans worldwide.
Right, like you know, I've had, like I told you before, I've had Jacob Bonus, you know, involved on the podcast in the past.
We lost sound.
Oh, you lost sound? Oh, you can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
All right. Check it in once again.
That's okay.
You hear me? Hold on just a moment.
If you want me to call back, just
Yeah.
raise your hand.
Yeah.
Call back? Okay.
Yeah, I'll see if you know, I can get back on. If y'all are, you know, watching right now and y'all hear me, you know, just let me know. Because you know, what I wanted to do was, you know, have more people to see if they could join in. All right. They're saying they hear me. Let's see if we got me back on. Dmitry, you got me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, cool. All right, so we had like a, you know, another question here in reference to, you know, if you were have a working relationship with Boots Enos.
I think Boots Ennis is one of the greatest prospects, talents in the sport of boxing. I don't promote him, but yeah, he's promoted by. He works with Cameron Duncan and he has some fights on Showtime. So we worked out deals where he fought on my cards, but I don't promote Boots, although I'd love to. He's a great fighter, and I feel like one of the best welterweights in the sport. So I definitely, you know, we've had a great working relationship. He's been on my events several times. You know, not only is he a great fighter, great guy outside the ring, humble, happy, friendly, great family. You know, so always a joy and a pleasure to work with him and his whole team. So yeah, definitely hope so.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, I'm seeing here that, you know, we have some more questions in. I did put in the link for other people to join in if they can. It says like, do you also have plans for Paul Crawl if you you know, working with Paul Crawl?
Who's Paul Crawl?
He's over in the Philadelphia area. He's like one you know, Philly fighters undefeated. So you know, he's kind of like building his profile.
Okay, I will check him out. Is he's a professional fighter?
Yes.
He's a pro?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, he is.
I will check him out and see what's up, as they say.
Yeah, he was you know, he was an amateur you know, up to a certain point from 2014 to 2016, but now is undefeated at 7-0. So he's, you know, coming up in the ranks there around the biggest that super welterweight division. Yeah, I'm gonna have another guest on here. Let me see if they could check in, brother Matthew Brown there with a certain background there. Matt, you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear both of y'all. How you doing, JR? How you doing, Dmitry? I'm good, man. You're having a rough week, man. Like, you know, I felt for you, man, when I saw what happened with Miller, because I remember the last time, you know, when he tested positive for the 3 different substances, how it was like you helped him to the biggest fight of his career, and then he lets everybody down. Like, were you?
Hold on, what was that last part, man?
You broke off on the you broke off on the money question, man.
Yeah, Matt, you like broke off in the middle of the question. I think he was
I,
like
I
kind of
think I
going
understand.
into.
I think, yeah, I get where he's going, where everybody's going. There's nothing for me to say. I mean, obviously everybody's disappointed. I'm disappointed. I know that Jarrell trained hard for this fight because I've been in touch with his trainer throughout training camp, and I just there's nothing for me to say. We're just gonna wait for the Nevada State Athletic Commission to make its ruling based on the results that they have, and you know, and they will do what they need to do, and we'll take the most proactive steps that we can. You know, it's
Now,
shocking.
can you hear me now?
Yes. Now.
I mean, yeah, I hear you.
So even if he is suspended by the Nevada Commission, all that stuff, right? As a promoter and a former fighter, do you have any reservations about working with Miller again in the future, considering this is like literally his 5th failed drug test in combat sports?
Well, when you say his 5th failed drug test, I just want to kind of give some clarity on that. You're talking about the first one that was for the kickboxing fight?
He had the first one as the kickboxer, the 3 in the lead up to the Joshua fight, and then this one.
Right, so it's 3 different incidents.
Yeah.
The kickboxing fight, I was involved with it because I literally just signed Jarrell the fight before boxing, and then he fought me for Crow Cup. I didn't want to let him do it, but he wanted to do it. So that was, and then if you really read the ruling, then the Nevada Commission, the California Commission, let him go after like a couple of weeks because it was something that was in a GNC, some type of vitamin that he was taking that was legal and that became legal, just like a couple of weeks or a couple of months before the ruling. So, that was just due to the lack of knowledge, Obviously, Anthony Joshua is something that was significantly more severe, but it's one instant where he took several substances. And this one, we're just waiting to get back to, trying to find out, to get to the bottom of it and find out what it really is, and let the commission rule as they see appropriate. There's nothing. I mean, obviously, we wanted Jarrell to fight and to be on ESPN and to do what he needs to do and to showcase his talent, his personality, etc. But it wasn't meant to be. So there's nothing that nothing that I can really say or do about it.
Yeah, but as a promoter, do you want to work with him in the future?
I've been with Jarrell, but he hasn't been with me. I'm sorry, he wasn't signed to me officially, but he's following my show since his 2nd professional fight. So, it's been pretty special to be able to be with him throughout. We've had our ups and downs in the relationship, and as a promoter, I really learned a lot about the business, due to these struggles and the ups and downs and the different challenges that those ups and downs cause with different promoters, with different entities, on a business level, on a legal level. I feel that I've really, although it was extremely difficult to deal with that at the moment that it was happening, but I learned a lot of great lessons and really met a lot of different people in the industry, on a different level. So, stood my ground when I was, back in those days when people wanted to kick me out. So, I don't have enough information to tell you what the future holds. We're going to wait with the Nevada State Athletic Commission rules in several days, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, the thing is, like you're saying, as far as like, being a promoter, there's, up to a certain level or up to a certain point that you could keep up with a fighter. You're not, necessarily with the fighter, 24/7, 365, or you may not be with that fighter at the gym, when he's, in training, because you have a whole lot of other fighters that you have to keep up with or, keep tabs with. So you kind of like, leave it up to the fighter and the team that he's with in order for them to, kind of stay on top of what's happening with testing protocols or any other things that are happening up to this particular point. With, Jarrell Miller specifically, it seems like, they were scheduling him to fight Jerry Forrest over in Las Vegas. So he would have been, part of that card in Las Vegas. And usually the protocol in Las Vegas is that, the fighters are usually there 2 or 3 weeks before their scheduled fight so that they could go through training, last training and everything. Also the testing, not just with, any, legal substances, but also COVID-19. And then once they're all cleared and all, good to go after that, then they go forward with with their fight. But in this particular case here with Jarrell Miller, looks like they, were able to have a positive result in a test that may have been conducted in Las Vegas. So now it has to go through another sample to see what happens.
It wasn't conducted in Vegas. It was conducted in New York. It was
Oh, okay.
His boxing gym in New York. Yeah, he was getting ready to leave. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, it's just. I mean, there's really nothing to say. It's we just have to wait and see, and wait. Like Mr. Bob Arum said, wait on the ruling of the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Right. All right. You said you got like about 10 minutes here. So seeing if you had like a relationship with James Prince, that's what Dexter Williams is asking here.
He's Jarrell's manager, and obviously extremely accomplished person in sport of boxing. So it's been great and professional to deal with everybody on Jarrell's and some of the training changes that Jarrell's made. So yeah, it's been a good camp.
Okay. Yeah, so you had you have a good overall relationship there with James Prince there, so that's good there, and that's what's up. Matt, you had like another question on here because I know that you're an avid fan of one of the fighters that Dmitry Salita books. So,
well, on that fighter, when are we gonna get any type of announcements as it pertains to Miss Claressa Shields and her next fight? And when can we get her on the boxing source? We need Claressa Shields on the boxing source.
All right, I'm with you. Hopefully this interview will pave the way. We're working on Claressa's next fight, working on dates, and obviously with the COVID-19 environment, it became things a little more challenging. But I think in the not too distant future, we'll have some great announcements. We'll have a great announcement.
Is Cecilia Brækhus ever gonna fight Claressa Shields, or can I just forget about that fight?
Not a question for me. That's a question for.
Well, I think it's a question for you. I mean, I have my
understands that her. Well, I mean, to be quite honest with you, and I, to be quite honest with you, I spoke with her team, and they said that if Claressa can come to 147, that Cecilia would fight her. So I know that she has some.
But why would Claressa come to 147 when she already came
she has
down
some
from
obligations to some fights?
Oh, come on! Why can't?
154. I mean, we can. So again, Claressa. So actually, you kind of lead into what I'm gonna say. Claressa, since the beginning of her career, since I started working with her, said, Dmitry, make the biggest and the best fights. She fought for the world title in her fourth professional fight against a champion that was 16-0. Has been making her story ever since. So, and she has really raised the sport of boxing, the sport of women's boxing, and the appreciation, the respect for women's boxing all throughout the world. Their pay grade, their visibility, their promotion. After Claressa fought on Showtime, Cecilia fought on HBO. Katie Taylor fought on The Zone. And all this, but it's Claressa that got the ball rolling. That's the truth. And Claressa, fought Christina Hammer, biggest fight in women's boxing history. Now it's fighting Marie DeCarry, great champion for the unified junior middleweight world title. I believe Claressa fought Hannah Gabriels. fought Frenchon Cruz. I mean, Nikki Adler. I mean, just the list goes on and on. I mean, she only has 10 fights, and look at the champions that she's fought. It's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So Clarissa is, I believe that Clarissa is going to be mentioned alongside the athletes like Muhammad Ali, Pele, Jackie Robinson, Sugar Ray Robinson,
Serena
Michael
Williams.
Jordan, Serena Williams, just the great athletes that transcend the sport. And Clarissa has transcended the sport of boxing. Coming where she comes from, Flint is a tough place. And I grew up in Brooklyn, and I grew up, and I've been exposed to my boxing career through some tougher places. But Flint is a lot more tougher than Brooklyn was. And Clarissa is the best in the world, twice, the best. I mean, think about it, man. She's the best. Not only did she win the Olympics, she won every other tournament that there is to win, all the nationals and the world championships and the Pan Am Games. And to grow up in such an environment and to stay focused and to put in the work and to put in the mental energy to be the best for such a long time. I don't know if in our generation, just if all things being equal and you kind of equal the sports to be so successful coming from that kind of environment and to really, she's a role model and a hero and an American, and a symbol of America, to the great. She grew up in one of the toughest, most difficult places, and is the best. She's the best at her job, the best in the world, over and over and over again. And not only that, she also talks about it and raises the standard for women's boxing all around the world, and talks about equality and talks about all the relevant things. Not only just worried about herself, she's worried about the women. She's pulling and carrying women's boxing on her back, and that's really tremendous. And she's still young, but extremely responsible, and it's kind of really rare that that in the midst of your career you understand your place. Muhammad Ali was one of those guys, So and Clarissa, Muhammad Ali, hopefully she'll fight Layla Ali, but only because I say that she doesn't have to, only because Layla's been talking, only because of that.
Yeah.
But Clarissa, has talked the talk and walked the walk. So.
Yeah, well, the two things that we're talking about is reference to fights with Clarissa. The thing with with Cecilia Brækhus doesn't want to go above 147. I don't think Clarissa feels are going to go below 154. So if
I gotta tell you, Clarissa said if Brækhus wants to do it at 47, I believe Clarissa will go to 40. If Cecilia would say yes, I make the fight, Clarissa will go down to 47. That's how bad Clarissa wants to be great.
I see that. I don't know if Matt wants to see her down at 147.
I gotta tell you, on a real boxing level, people talking about fight with Layla Ali, and it's great because of Layla Ali's name, but on a boxing level, that's the fight. So Cecilia and Clarissa, that's the fight.
But that can't be healthy for a woman to cut so much weight. That can't be healthy.
Clarissa has been working with a team of nutritionists, and before she said it, she consulted with them, and it's going to be very difficult. But they said that Clarissa can do it, responsible if she takes her time and does it right, that she can do it. And talk about the sacrifice that she's willing to make, to raise the sport to the next level.
That's it.
And really, really achieve greatness.
Now, I think we got like a couple more minutes there before you're able to step out. So, one question here from Terrell Thomas. He says, "Are you comfortable with the published perception of a brand and what to do to gain that crossover support to elevator, like as far as like mainstream and things like that? Because she's been part of a show recently. So with The Rock." So that kind of like builds into getting her familiar with the
yes.
public.
Yeah, I think for someone who's been a pro for such a little time and who doesn't have as many fights, who has a movie made about her, Hollywood is making a movie about her. That she came to Flint right before, Corona hit, and to be on the Oscars and to be on the Golden Globes and to be on the ESPYs and to be on the BET Awards, I think it's pretty awesome. So I'm not sure exactly what your, to the full extent of the question, but I think that Carissa's getting a tremendous amount of crossover appeal, and I think it's going to get more and more and more. And again, I believe she's going to become a legendary. She's going to become a legendary, legendary athlete when it's all said and done. And people that have been to her fights live should save a ticket because they're going to be talking about it 10 years from now. I mean, for real. Because there could be another dominant heavyweight. There could be another, someone that's as good as other great men fighters. But there can never be Clarissa Shields because she's the first. She's the first to set these records and to break records and to kind of, and to make way for women in a time where, publicity and exposure is, we have iPhones, we can do an interview on an iPhone, there's television, there's internet, so the world can find out about you very quickly. So, so maybe in previous generations, they were great athletes, but the word didn't travel as fast as it does now. And actually, through Corona, we see how small the world is. But most importantly, Clarissa, has been accomplishing greatness in the ring. Yeah. I want to say only in America. Only in America, man.
Only in America, baby.
Only in America.
Well, I think that this is pretty much, was it your time there? So I didn't know if you were going to be on for a little bit longer or anything like that. So
I'll take one more question if there is one.
Oh, okay. Matt, you have one more question? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who was on.
Can you give us like a quick rundown on what's next for all the fighters on your roster? Like, what could we expect for them coming out of this pandemic?
Yeah, so we'd like to schedule a show or shows at the Crown Boxing Gym, but that depends on what the governor's going to do here in Michigan in terms of relaxing some of the restrictions on sporting events. That's what we like to do, and we like to feature some of them. Waiting to hear what Showtime is going to do with Showbox and some of the other events, and just want to keep progressing our fighters, keep them busy, and now the gyms are opening up a little bit, so many of them are Florida training, so just want to get back to work, so to say, so the fighters can do what they need to do, and I can really do what I need to do in terms of planning events, and making sure we progress and keep the sport of boxing moving on.
Gotcha. Now, I thank you very much for coming on here, taking the time to be on with the Boxing Source here on YouTube, and we'll be, on the lookout there. We're going to post some links for Salita Promotions through YouTube, and also the Salita Promotions page that's on Facebook, so that people can follow those pages and get, all the updates there from you and those within Salita Promotions.
Great. Thank you so much for having me on, and I appreciate all the questions, and I'll see you soon.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Okay, man. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So that's Dmitry Salita there. Thank you very much for coming on here to take on the questions from myself and the people that were on the YouTube channel chatting in, and from Matthew Brown here. So he went through a couple of things in reference to what's going on within Salita Promotions. Building up a library to have fights being shown on the Salita Promotions YouTube page, pretty much like how the things are going for like a Golden Boy or You know how the Zone is putting on fights, or Premier Boxing Champions is putting on fights there. You know, kind of like building up a library themselves to do that. And also that he is, you know, currently working on trying to get some fight cards to happen over in the Michigan area through the Kronk Gym. You know, kind of like, you know, we have the thing going on currently in Las Vegas, and of course, fights that are coming up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's going to be that fight card through Matchroom Boxing USA in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with Cecilia Bray, who's going up against the Cat Skilla. And then, you know, also Julio Cesar Martinez defending his flyweight title against McWilliams Arroyo. So that's, you know, a fight card that to look forward to within the next few weeks or so. So, Matt, what did you think about, you know, Salita being on here for that time?
I gotta be honest with you. I was not feeling his answer about working with Jarrell Miller in the future, man. I wasn't feeling that. So you can tell we will see Jarrell Miller again in the sport of boxing, even though we probably shouldn't. There's always gonna be a promoter out there that's gonna take a chance on him, and you know, it looks like Salita is still probably gonna work with him in the future. They're gonna accept the ban, whether it is from Vegas. It's probably gonna be maybe a year, probably just a year, and you'll see that fat bastard back in the ring again. I guess, you know, it is what it is, man.
I mean, like I said, this guy had his chance. You had the time. Under my promotional banner, we had something set up for you. All you had to do was get in a ring against Sherry Forrest. Then we would have had something built up for you in the future. You could have had a shot at a world title through us. We would have made it happen for you. But this is what you go and do. You better hope that next test does not come up positive, because if you do have another positive test, we're going to drop you. And I don't know who else is going to take you on. You had your chance with Eddie Hearn. You had your chance with me. Who else are you going to have a chance with? No.
It won't be Al Heyman. It won't be Al Heyman.
It won't be Al. No, certainly won't.
It won't be Al Heyman.
It won't be Al Heyman. It won't be
not with that Jay Prince connection. It won't be Al Heyman.
No. Hey, maybe Adrian. I don't know if Adrian Clark will work with him either. Hey, maybe we can have Free Ray. Free Ray.
Yeah, maybe, man. I'm sure he got some drug money hidden from decades ago.
Hey.
Come on, you don't think he gave it all up, right? Come on. Freeway went. He had a couple million hidden inside some mattress somewhere.
Man, thanks, man. Yeah, he was, good as far as like what he was, able to give there within that 30-minute time frame. So, yeah, that's something. Robertson Ramirez, man, come on, man. Like, you're supposed to take this dude out. Like, come on, man.
Oh, I forgot that card was on. Who's winning?
Man, they probably had Robertson Ramirez winning, man. I don't know, man. They about to
watching this shit. I have no interest in watching Top Rank. The first card I'm watching, July 18th.
Yeah.
Louis Neary versus Aaron Alameda. I'm watching that.
Yeah, no Ramirez.
No drug testing allowed.
Yeah. Yo, we have Luis Nery on. Yo, you can't have any drug testing. Oh, man. Yeah, Robertson Ramirez won by unanimous decision, man. I thought he was going to knock him out. He didn't knock him out.
Did you and Terrell get a chance to talk about the latest with Serrano and Hearn?
No. So, man, this is like a
ugly.
Reaction, man.
Word. Word.
Like, I don't understand. Yo, come on, man. I tried to bait Eddie Hearn to talk about Devin Haney, but he ain't say nothing.
Yo, what's going, yo? I know Devin Haney is probably like, yo, they treated me like Michael Hunter. Ain't this some shit?
Yeah,
Like,
hey, yo, Michael Hunter said, yo. And they were like, yeah, man, they told Michael Hunter, they're like, yo, man, I saw what you did against Povetkin. It was looking all good and all, but I know what you did against Andy Ruiz in the gym, but we ain't got nothing for you, man.
hey, but you know what? That's what Michael Hunter has get. You know, he's already advised by Al Heyman. He should have went home to PBC instead of doing the coon shit and going with Eddie Hearn. First he went with Bob. Then he went with Eddie. Oh, you guys are not looking after me. You're not all in the way I want you guys to be. Well, duh, you dummy. What the fuck? Come on home. Come on home.
Hey, yeah, but yo, Jacobs, he put
Daniel Jacobs getting that bag. He touching M's as he would say. He is touching M's.
Yeah, he's touching M's right now. He's touching M's. Yo, but Michael Hunter, yeah, you ain't touching M's, man. You need to go over there, man. You need to hit, see if you can have fights with FC Jogba. Maybe you have a fight with Dominic Brazil. You know what I'm saying?
Boy, what about the Prince? What about the Prince?
Yo, that was the first thing I was thinking of. I'm like, yo, come on over, man. PBC had that fight with Prince. Nah, not the Prince. I'm talking about the God. And the Prince is the God.
Yo, man, he made a big mistake going with Eddie Hearn. Just like Demetrius Andrade made a big mistake going with Eddie Hearn. Just like Devin Haney made a big mistake going with Eddie Hearn. Hearn, I don't care what nobody says.
I'm going to bait. Because I'm saying there's only one thing right now that Devin Haney can do at this particular point, because he should have had the thing going down between him and Luke Campbell.
Exactly.
And it's twice. That's twice that they could have had that, that fight happen. Twice. And now I'm like, if they don't have my boy ready that says that he wants to step up and fight him,
hey, we'll see.
If they don't make that fight,
we'll see.
Terrell might be. Because if I see Devin Haney in a WBC title defense against Elon Mendy, man.
Nah, he's gonna be fighting Lee Selby.
Oh no, if he fights Lee Selby, man, I quit. I'm sorry, I quit.
It's been 2 years so far, JR. Is it safe to say that Matchroom USA has been a failure?
I don't know about that quite yet.
2 years, JR. What have they done for the American boxing landscape?
Wait, well, they don't really have many American boxers.
Exactly. It's been 2 years. And it's been 2 years.
Yeah, but hey, like I said, man, you have people like Bob Arum, like, who is this English guy? I dealt with his dad. His dad is a prick. So why in the world would I deal with Eddie?
Exactly. So it's like,
you think Al Heyman will actually, hey, wait, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The only person that would work with Eddie Hearn in America in a fairly regular basis was Lou DiBella.
And where'd that get him?
Where is that now?
Where'd that get him?
Yeah, man. It's still all bad. It's still all bad.
He got Lou DiBella fired on his day off from PBC. Now Tom Brown is the new Lou DiBella. You know, it's like damn. Now Lou DiBella can't collect that 15% every show because Eddie Hearn done fucked up the bag for him. Now Lou DiBella, he lost Sergey Derevyanchenko. Now he's left with an unhappy Serrano and a cockeyed Tevin Farmer. So it's like it's just not good, man.
Hey, listen, yo. Hey, man, yo, my boy Salita gonna be the new Brooklyn, son.
Yeah.
Gonna be the new Brooklyn. Instead of having those Brooklyn fights through Lou DiBella, man. Lou DiBella Promotions, man. We're gonna have it through Salita Promotions, man. Yo. Oh, it's crazy, man.
I can't believe Salita's still gonna work with fucking Miller, man. That blew my mind. Because at first I was like, yo, did my question not translate to English? Because he was saying all this.
The connection was good enough, man. He was able to answer the whole question. The connection was good enough.
Because he was like, Nevada, depends on what Nevada. Wait, I was like, wait. Did he hear me correctly? And he said, yeah, who knows what the future holds? Oh, shit, this motherfucker heard me correctly. Ain't that a B? Let's switch topics.
Oh, God. But he's all in. He's all in with Shields, though, man. He's all in with Shields.
He needs to
all
be.
In.
But I'm getting concerned about Claressa. You know, she a little bit too spicy, man. She be trying to meet up with people to fight on social media. She was cursing somebody out.
No, well, I mean, you know what she does on Twitter, man. But she's had a couple of videos on IG Live where she be going back and forth. Hey, we don't want to get your boy on her. We don't want to get Nate Campbell, yo. Like we talking about spicy, but I just don't like. I know that he said that Shields could be in a good little diet plan to get down to 147, but nah, I don't
think that's safe. I don't think that's safe at all.
I don't think that's safe, but I said it earlier though. Cecilia Braekhus, I don't know, man. The Caskiller. I think, I gotta take in that one, man. I do.
Yeah, but Caskill, she's like naturally a 135er though.
But she's tough. She real tough. Like she's like Kylie Reyes tough, like that tough. But
I would love to see Braekhus get her ass beaten just for not fighting Claressa Shields.
Hey, listen, when you have Abel Sanchez in your corner now instead of Jonathan Banks, man, I don't know. That's kind of a questionable decision right there. Why would you go with Abel Sanchez, given the success or lack thereof that Abel Sanchez has had in big fights recently? So I don't understand.
I think he should have Shields fight a fan or something like that, just to get the juices flowing.
Have some, but maybe have her go up against. Nah, he's too big. I was gonna say,
what about Charlie Z? Now, what about Charlie Z?
Hey, Charlie Z, yeah, we can make that happen. Yeah, put that on Showtime. You know what I'm saying? Or have KSI or Logan Paul against Shields.
Yeah, that's just crazy, man.
Nah, but hey, how come they didn't even talk about Raquel Miller? Like that ain't even in the radar yet.
Well, she shouldn't be in the radar. Like she's pretty, but who cares about Raquel Miller really right now? She's cute, but that's where it ends. She's not really creating no buzz like that. You know, we were
Oh,
expecting.
so wait. Hold on. Are you saying that she's all right, but she's not real? What?
Yeah, man. Of course. And
Oh,
listen. I like Raquel Miller. I do. I like Raquel Miller. She's a good fighter. But what has she been doing to increase her brand and awareness? She's had like a couple workouts on IG, but has she done any real interviews since the boxing source? You know, is she out there on Twitter, you know, mixing it up with fans? You see Ryan Garcia, he's hanging out with one of the Paul brothers. They're doing
right,
like you know, you gotta be out there.
guy.
Especially at these listen, I love women's boxing, but these women boxers, they are so lazy when it comes to the media game. Like it's like they don't want to participate.
Like they don't want to market themselves. Like
Yeah.
you gotta be able to do that in order to boost up the sport. I mean, Salita did talk about the thing with Clarissa Shields, but Clarissa Shields is out there because that's her. That's been her since the beginning.
Yeah.
So she says she's great, she's a quote, and she can back it up. But everybody else isn't necessarily like that. Her previous opponent, there, Miss Get That Belts, um, she's kind of out there a little bit, but not as much as Shields is.
Yeah.
Cruz is not really out there that much. Like, if it wasn't for what happened in that fight with Alejandra, Jimenez, then what would what would the general public be talking about with franchise?
Exactly. It's like, where are all these female fighters out there doing the interviews? Even if you don't want to do interviews, put out some like maybe like a documentary style thing, following
Mhm.
what it is you're doing. Get out there.
Mhm.
You had Tika Hemingway on the show not too long ago. She said she's gonna get more into the social media. She hasn't updated her Twitter since
Well,
the
I mean,
interview.
she had recent passing. So that was like what, a couple weeks ago. I think with her
Yeah,
dad. So, but she's trying to see what she could do over there in the Pittsburgh area. To build. So we got to see like how that's going to turn out, as well to see if she can build up her profile. But these other fighters that are here in the States or whatnot, they're not really doing what they need to do out there, man. So
yeah.
yeah,
Like I maybe it's just me, but I feel like if I was managing a fighter, we doing every interview. We talking to everybody.
yeah, seems like it. Like, I don't know who else is like reaching out like that. Maybe a couple other people, but who knows? Yo, real quick though, want to do this before I roll. Like, your thoughts on the lightweight division and what could happen.
It's on ESPN.
Oh well, no, not the thing with ESPN right now. Um, like, what do you think is going to happen between Luke Campbell and King Rye?
Yeah.
First, do you think the fight will actually happen?
You get me? Damn, I think
It's kind of like cutting off and on. Yeah, I think you got cut off there a little bit. I'm gonna see if I got like about pretty much about 6 minutes before kind of sign off with this particular live telecast here. Yeah, I was like mentioning before the thing with the situation with the lightweight division. I did talk about it in a previous video that's on the YouTube channel. you have the fights that are announced with Jorge Linares versus Javier Fortuna for the WBC Diamond Lightweight title. You do have Vasyl Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez for the unified lightweight titles. And the WBC did order Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia to fight. Those guys are, pretty much, I think, ranked number 2 and number 3. You have Javier Fortuna ranked at number 1. Jorge Linares is ranked number 5. Ivan Mendy is ranked number 4. So, I'm trying to see what's going to, go down in reference to Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell. That is, that would be a very intriguing fight in the lightweight division. We just have to see how they'll be able to build that particular fight up. If the fight does, actually, go ahead and take place. Given that Ryan Garcia is trying to be a building star there right now in the lightweight division, it'd be interesting to see if, they do, if they do have that fight with Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell. Given that, Luke Campbell did have his fight against Vasyl Lomachenko over in the O2 Arena in, Greenwich in the UK. He, was there at the Liacouras Center, against Adrian Young. That was part of that fight card with, with Tevin Farmer, with him at the time defending the title. But other than that, you kind of like had him, face Ivan Mendy to be a top contender, and that was at Wembley Stadium. You had him going up against Jorge Linares for the WBA lightweight title, and that was in Inglewood, California. But other than that, he's fought in Liverpool, Hull, Leeds, Sheffield Arena. We had that loss to Ivan Mendy back in 2015. I remember him going up against Tommy Coyle back in 2015. So that that was that's been where he's kind of like been in the spotlight in the UK for a good amount of time there. So but right now at this particular point, I'm not sure what's going to happen with him against Ryan Garcia. This is kind of like pretty much his last little shot to kind of be a world title contender. Because like I said, he did lose to Ivan Mendy. He did lose to Jorge Linares. And then, he was able to defeat Ivan Mendy in a rematch in order to be a top contender for the WBC title, but fought Vasyl Lomachenko for that WBC title as it was vacant at that particular time. And he lost by decision. So going to be interesting to see what is going to happen here next for Luke Campbell, as that fight against Vasyl Lomachenko was his last fight. He hasn't fought in pretty much almost one calendar year. So whoever, if he does end up fighting Ryan Garcia, that would be very interesting there in that particular instance. But other than that, if he doesn't fight Ryan Garcia, it may end up having him taking on, Devin Haney. We've been trying to make that fight, pretty much twice. They tried to make it for the WBC title when it was vacant, but they didn't go through with that. So now, since Devin Haney has been, reinstated as the WBC champion, they should go ahead and go through with this fight, since they have Javier Fortuna going up against Jorge Linares for the WBC Diamond title. So there we are with that. On that note, I will close this particular live video. Big thanks to Dmitry Salita of Salita Promotions for coming on. Thanks to Matthew Brown for coming on to the live, and also to all of you that have participated on the YouTube page. Terrell Thomas there, and also Boxing Virus. We're going to be, back at it. Also, to Lawrence Williams as well, that did contribute with questions for Dmitry Salita. So, we will be back at it Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So we're going to have that. Like I said, big thanks to you, Boxing Virus. There, we're going to have live. So we're going to have it, here on YouTube, and then we'll have it through podcasts as well. We're going to see how we're going to, work that on Sunday night. We're going to be at a particular location over the weekend, so you might see some more video content on this page here over the next few days. So be on the lookout for that. Right now, you can catch the action on ESPN, Top Rank on ESPN. The main event that will be, coming up here is Jose Pedraza versus Mikael Lespierre. You'll also, have Albert Bell versus Mark Bernaldez there as the co-feature. Right now, you have Kingsley Abe versus Patrick Melata. So you'll catch that action. We'll have more coming through Top Rank for the next few weeks or so before more action happens through Golden Boy Promotions, through Matchroom Boxing USA, and then Premier Boxing Champions, and other promotional banners as well. So be on the lookout for that. Until Sunday when we have our podcast, I will catch y'all later. Peace.